Have you ever wondered what makes Djokovic so hard to beat? Over the last couple of years, Novak Djokovic has had an incredible record. Recently, I did the math and counted all the matches he won and lost over a 7-year period. Over these years, Novak won 480 matches and lost 62, which represents an almost 90% win-loss ratio. Of course, there are many qualities Novak has that allows him to have such amazing numbers. We could talk about his mindset, we could talk about his diet, athleticism, and so on. But today what I want to do is put myself in the position of Novak's opponents and explain why it's so hard for them to get a win against him. The way I like to talk about this is by drawing the image of a path. I imagine you are here, and to get a win against Novak, you need to get to here. In an ideal world, Novak's opponents would want this path to be as clear as possible. The clearer the path, the easier it will be to win a point, and in consequence, the easier it will be to win a match against Novak. The problem with Novak is that he usually presents his opponents with two huge obstacles to overcome. The first obstacle appears at the start of the point, and that is Novak's return. Let's give you some numbers so we realize how important this is. The first thing I want you to do is to take a look at this picture. This picture compares Roger Federer's serve placement from two matches. The first match is the fourth round of the 2015 Wimbledon Championships against Bautista Agut, and the second match is the 2015 Wimbledon final against Novak Djokovic. As you can see, in both matches, Federer had a very similar first serve percentage and he distributed his serve in a very similar way. I want you to take a couple of seconds to see this picture because it's the best way I have to show you that the performance of Federer's serve was almost identical between these matches. Having seen this picture, I will present you with two tables. These are the tables that allow me to analyze how good was the return of serve of a player. Even though these tables have a lot of numbers, they are very easy to understand. First, these tables are divided in four parts. First serve on the due side, second serve on the due side, first serve on the add side, and second serve on the add side. Each part has 5 columns. The first column tells us the type of serve. The second column represents the percentage of each serve in. The third, the fourth, and the fifth column tells us the percentage in which a particular serve got the server good results, neutral results, and bad results. For good results, I consider aces, missed returns of serves, weak returns of serves, and points where the server got the opportunity to win the point by serving and volleying. For neutrals, I consider the serves where the return ball had a little bit of depth, a shot that landed between the service box and the baseline. And finally, for bad results, I consider the serves where the player hit a big return, a shot that made the server miss, put him on a defensive position from the beginning of the point, or made him lose the point where he tried to serve and volley. Since we are talking about two matches being played in the same tournament with the same surface against the same opponent that had similar performances with his serve, we get an amazing opportunity to compare results. As you can see, during the match against Bautista Agut, Federer had amazing results with his serve. In this match, the percentages of good results for Federer were great. We have numbers above 50%, 60%, 70%, 90%, and even some good results of 100% of frequency. These numbers also appear on points played with the second serve, above 60% here, 100% here and here. These numbers allows us to get a clear image of how Federer's service games went. They tell us that with his first serve percentage and this distribution, Federer was able to comfortably win most of his service points. Now, let's take a look at Novak's return numbers. As you can see, here Roger had to work a lot harder during his service games. What used to be 60% is now 50%. What used to be 90% is now 67%. What used to be 100% is now 55%. Also, we can see how the bad results increased. Against Bautista Agut, Federer had 0% on almost all categories of first serves. However, against Novak, Federer started to get numbers in red: 17%, 25%, 33%. For the points played with Federer's second serve, we also see how Novak's return makes things a lot more complicated for Roger. From having really great numbers against Bautista Agut, we see how against Novak, almost every category has good results below 50%, and how the bad results increased. Many people consider Novak as the best returner of the game, and for good reasons. Novak has an incredible ability. He can neutralize his opponent's biggest weapon. Most of Novak's opponents don't have the luxury of starting the point on their own terms, even with their own serves. This is why I consider Novak's return as the first main obstacle to overcome. Usually, having a good first serve percentage and a good serve distribution is enough to get comfortable service holds. However, against Novak, their opponents need to work extremely hard from the beginning of the point. Now, let's pretend that Novak's opponent started a point by serving, and he did well enough to overcome this first obstacle. Maybe he didn't get the free point, but at least he has now the opportunity to start building the point on equal terms. This is the moment when the second obstacle comes to life, and that is Novak's defense. If you have seen one of my previous videos, by now you know that an effective attack has three stages: pre-open the court, open the court, and finishing the point. As we said on that video, during the first stage, attacking players have one goal. They need to either push their opponent's back or force a short ball. This is extremely important because it's what allows them to create spaces on the next ball. If attacking players try to open the court before stage 1 is completed, they won't be able to create enough spaces on court later on. What makes Novak's defense one of the best is that it's very hard for their opponents to create one of these two outcomes. Only few players are able to push Novak back or force a short ball. Players have tried to attack Novak with heavy topspin, deep slices, flat shots, and many others, but in the majority of cases, Djokovic is able to return the ball deep without giving any court position. This denies many players the possibility of successfully completing the attack, and as a result, they eventually commit an error. This is why winning a rally against Novak is also very hard. Djokovic is very consistent, his unforced errors are very low, and his defense is extremely hard to crack. Overall, these are the two obstacles Novak's opponents need to overcome if they want to win a point. Now consider this. Djokovic is also considered as one of the most mentally tough opponents. It is not common for Novak to lose his concentration for extended periods. This means that these two obstacles will always be there. When players overcome these two obstacles in one point, they will probably win that point. But to win the game, the set, and eventually the match, they will need to overcome these obstacles countless of times. By now, you could be thinking that these two obstacles only apply when Novak is receiving, and that when he is serving there is only the second obstacle. However, Novak has a very strong first serve and second serve as well. Being able to start a point on equal terms when Novak is serving is not easy. When Novak is serving, their opponents won't have to overcome the return of serve obstacle, but that obstacle will be replaced by Novak's serve. So, during my research, These are the obstacles I found opponents have to face when playing against Novak. In terms of tactics, this is my opinion about what makes Novak so hard to beat and why he's had and keeps having amazing success on the tour. Having said all this, I would like to know your opinion. Do you agree with this analysis or do you disagree? Please let me know in the comments section. Also, remember I created a Facebook group for those of you that want to talk about strategies, share their experiences on court, or ask for advice. If you want to join the group, I will leave a link on the video description below. And finally, if you want to see more videos like this in the future, subscribe to this channel and turn on the bell icon. Once again, my name is Jorge, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.